We're starting to see the fallout and backlash from the LA ICE riots this past week. Could LA be on the verge of losing the 2028 Olympics over the mess? Could California Democrats lose their supermajority control of state government because of how they mishandled the situation? And is Gavin Newsom using the LA riots to prop up his failing presidential campaign? We're going to explore those three angles of fallout from mayhem in LA coming right up. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative. We're still sorting out the fallout of the LA violence that we've seen for the past several days in the wake of these ICE operations. And I'm telling you right now, I think this is backfiring big time on California Democrat politicians and the leaders in particular in Los Angeles. We're going to explore three questions that I think people should start looking at. And it all has to do with the backlash that I think we're going to see from these riots. Before we get into that, know that we are diving deep on this situation, and we're trying to make sure that the public gets the truth, because in California, we've got liberal media, one-sided media that tells you that these are peaceful protests. Don't believe your lying eyes. They're actually peaceful protests. And by the way, it's all Donald Trump's fault. That's what the liberal media stations, the LA Times, all the local news stations across California are doing, is they're parroting the false and misleading rhetoric of Democrat politicians. Now, remember, these are the same lying media outlets that told you that Joe Biden was mentally fit as a fiddle. Don't believe your lying eyes. Trust us. He's a mental powerhouse. And now, of course, when the truth has come out, they continue to basically run like cockroaches in a greasy kitchen. Look, the public is seeing this for what it is. When they see images like this, they recognize that this is not a peaceful protest. Lighting a car on fire in the middle of the street, not a peaceful protest. Taking to a highway and shutting down traffic and throwing bricks at vehicles, particularly vehicles containing law enforcement agents, not a peaceful protest. When they see images like this, what do they see? Not a peaceful protest. They see it for what it is: absolute violent mayhem. And these images, they just capture people, because you're looking at it, and this is not humanity. This is not a civilized country. This is anarchy. This is insanity. This is violence. And so we've been spending a lot of time at Reform California following the money. As you saw earlier this week, we exposed that state taxpayer funds have been used to organize these protests. Tens of millions of dollars given out to LA far left groups, including one group in particular that's at the center of these protests, the Coalition for Immigrant Humane Rights LA, SHIRLA, which ran a hotline, still runs a hotline. I call it the radar system for the violent left. A hotline where people call in and snitch where they're seeing ICE or other federal agents in their community. Why are they taking the tips using this hotline funded by taxpayer money? They're doing this so they can then direct agitators to go and thwart law enforcement, to obstruct justice. If this isn't calling for a RICO investigation, I don't know what would. But we brought you that evidence. We followed the money. We actually highlighted this SHIRLA group way back in February, receiving federal taxpayer funds from the state budget. And we've only continued to document more and more millions of dollars going to this group. I mean, you see the reports of pallets of bricks being delivered to the streets of LA, riot shields being delivered to the rioters. Those things cost money. This is being organized. And of course, Sherla has been actively engaged on its social media accounts and through its staff in organized what they call peaceful protests. Yeah, bitch, please. We need to have an audit. We need to have an investigation. At the very least, we need to cut off the money. These left-wing groups should not be given any funds. But I'm going to explore the 3 fallout items in just a minute. Please go to the website and join the work that we're doing here. reformcalifornia.org. That's our ground zero for our campaign. You'll see on that website not only the information that we are trying to get out to the public, the truth, because the liberal media won't cover it. So we have all sorts of news stories that you can share, but also sign up to help us get California Voter ID Initiative, get that initiative on the ballot to protect Prop 13, help us recruit and support candidates for office. Go to reformcalifornia.org, sign up at the bottom so that you're tethered into our growing statewide movement to take back California from far left insanity. All you need to do is put it in at the bottom, first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code. Also, please contribute. We are entirely funded with grassroots contributions from folks like you. We get no government money like Sherla does. Boy, we totally would love to get tens of millions of dollars from the state of California, but no. We have to do this through grassroots support from concerned Californians like yourself. So chip in a contribution, anything you can do. All right, so I want to cover 3 elements of fallout that I think is going to be very apparent real soon in the wake of the LA riots. First and foremost is the Olympics. Again, let's go back to this video. As you see the military, National Guard on the streets of LA, you see absolute mayhem, police officers being attacked. You see cars like this one full on in flames, people with Mexican flags running around. It's absolute lawlessness. And so you'd have to imagine that the Olympics Committee, all the big corporations involved in the Olympics are looking at these pictures saying, is this where we want to invest our money? Is this where we want to go? Is it safe to bring all of the men and women on all these international sporting teams to LA? I mean, it's almost like Gaza. It's that bad. And Los Angeles Olympics were already on death's doorstep. Here's just from March 30th, 2025. Los Angeles faces $1 billion deficit ahead of 2028 Olympics. And I've known about the financial shortfalls because Mayor Karen Bass and other Democrats are coming up to Sacramento saying, oh, we need money, a bailout for the Olympics. They just crammed through a new rental car tax because there's a shortfall in the airport funds at LAX. So they need to raise the rental car tax at LA Airport. They're short money. Pictures like these, $1 billion shortfall. Yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot of people to step up and invest in LA because would you take a high risk bet like this? You know damn well that in 2028, President Trump's still going to be in office. And so it's not like he's going to say, oh, yeah, let's not have law and order in LA. He's still going to be, implementing and enforcing federal law. And when there's an international event, these agitators love the attention. Because remember, it's all about driving a narrative for them, not just what's in front of them, what they're actually fighting over. It's all about the conflict, the rebellion, the struggle. That's what the left's concept is of political organizing, that you need to have these big flare-ups and confrontations because they're an opportunity to recruit more people. Remember, most people are like, oh, that's awful. But there's a certain element of society that's mentally deranged that says, oh, yes, I agree with this. And then, of course, then they flock because when there's a fight happening, it's like some people show up and they want to participate. This is how they recruit. These confrontations are about recruitment as much as it is about the dispute of the moment. So LA Olympics, again, short of money, images like these, not going to help them bridge that shortfall. And so the question now has to be asked, is LA going to be able to pull off the Olympics Is it possible that several of the backers of the Olympics will start pulling out and that the whole entire event collapses? Second thing that you need to look at is the impact on politics here in California. And here we have a press conference from yesterday of the Democrats. Look at all these bozos. Look at all of them. Guilty, 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 guilty. All these are guilty parties. They're all standing up there. I mean, what they should be doing is saying, hey, everyone go home, stop protesting. This has become out of control. This is violent. We should not be impeding federal law enforcement. ICE is just doing their jobs. If any rational person would basically try to pump the brakes and calm things down, not these blank hat far left Democrats. This is what they said at yesterday's press conference.
For the leadership and tireless work to protect lives, property, and the constitutional right of people across LA County. On behalf of the LA County Legislative Delegation and 10 million people that call LA County home, we have a simple message for current President of the United States.
Wait. You have a message for Trump? How about a message for the rioters, the criminals, the lawbreakers, the folks that are attacking police officers and sheriff's deputies? Do you have a message for them? No, not a single word at yesterday's press conference was directed at the agitators. Not a single word. It was all, hey, Orange Man bad, Trump bad, Trump is to blame. So the message that they have for the president is stop. Stop doing what? Trump is simply doing the job the American people elected him to do. This is what I voted for. This is what millions voted for. By the way, and Trump is doing the job that you blank hats have failed to do, which is to keep law and order, to protect us from the criminal elements of society that you have financed, by the way. Getting back to Sherla.
Stop. Just stop. Mr. President, stop violating the constitutional rights of the people of LA County.
Oh, I have to say, stop violating the constitutional rights of the people of LA County. Who during 2020 shut down all of our businesses, our restaurants, our schools, told people they couldn't even go on the beach? Oh, yeah. You had Democrat politicians cracking down. Oh, God, can't have people exercising their rights to have a birthday party in their backyard. You have an unlawful assembly. People could get sick at that birthday party. You're a super spreader. Here you have a bunch of people breaking windows, burning cars, attacking police officers, and it's like, nothing. Not going to say a word. Person that's upholding constitutional rights, President Trump. People have a right to a peaceful, calm, secure neighborhood. Something that you have clearly taken away from Californians over the last 20 years of one-party control.
Mr. President, stop violating the due process rights of the people of...
Again, go back to 2020. Let's talk due process, lady.
LA County. Mr. President, stop provoking fear and violence in LA County.
Provoking fear and violence. This guy is literally saying, don't break the law. Don't light fires inside of cars. The people that are provoking fear and violence, Gavin Newsom and Democrats, they're calling ICE terrorists. They're saying that this is an abuse of power. The rhetoric Democrats have used, and we shared that on yesterday's episode, inflammatory, inciting. The only people provoking fear and violence. I have Democrats telling little kids in school, Trump wants to come for you in the middle of the night and take you away from your mom and dad. How vile. How absolutely vile.
Be clear. There's no federal emergency in Los Angeles.
Be clear. Nothing to see here. It's all calm. These are peaceful protests. And Joe Biden is a mental genius. He's absolutely fit as a fiddle. No one believes you. You people have lost all credibility. And again, I don't know. They've obviously not done any polling. They're standing up there doubling and tripling down on insanity. And yes, I do believe that what's going on in LA is being witnessed by voters. Some voters, again, as I said, are like moths to the flame. They're the agitators and they're going to like this stuff and want to join. But 80%, They're the people who voted for Prop 36 in this last election. They support police and prosecutors to do the job to keep our community safe. Democrats are totally misreading the room, which is why I believe that they could lose their supermajority. All of them up there. Get the names. I want the list of names. Find the list of names and target them for defeat in the November 2024 election. And that's exactly what we're doing. We have our campaign called Flip Target Seats. We've got a list of 26 seats in California that we are targeting to flip in this upcoming election, that we believe we actually can flip with the right candidates. We just need financial support to back the candidates, because Democrats have a cash advantage with all the dark money, the special interest money, the union bosses that fund their campaigns. So we need grassroots supporters to come through and help us out. But let's take a look again at the list there. Quirk Silva is in one of the target seats. She's not running for re-election, but we're going to pick up her seat. Where's Corey Jackson? I think he was somewhere over on this side of the podium. He's in a target seat. So we have the ability. Harbordarian, his seat is not necessarily so safe. There are members at this podium whose seats can be flipped in the upcoming election, and we plan to target them. I believe that all we need is 7 seats. I believe that we're going to get 7 seats and break the supermajority and once again have leverage in Sacramento to restore a little sanity. Let me get to the third element. So the first element is the Olympics. I think that those are now engraved out, and rightfully so. The second is the backlash, I think, will be felt in some of these legislative races in 2026 in the midterm election and breaking the supermajority. But now let's talk about the impact of Gavin Newsom in 2028. So Newsom basically is presiding over lawlessness. Newsom is picking a fight with Trump. Newsom should have deployed the National Guard, but he didn't. So Trump did it on his own. Now Newsom is suing Trump. He says, we're going to enforce the law. You broke the law, Trump. We're going to enforce the law. The only law enforcement being done by Gavin Newsom and California Democrats is targeting Donald Trump. There's no law enforcement happening at the local level, and I think people are seeing that. So Newsom is picking a fight with Trump. Why? Here's why. Headline: Newsom's 2028 hopes dim, according to new poll. This is from just a few weeks ago, May 15th. His campaign has been flailing for months. He tried the podcast, and that bombed. No one bothered to watch it. He only got a backlash for trying to pretend like he's a moderate by taking some moderate positions and then backtracking from those. But Newsom is at the bottom of all the polls nationally. Only 2% of voters, according to a poll by coefficient between May 7th and 9th, only 2% see Newsom as the face of the Democrat Party. Only 2%. His campaign has been in free fall. So what does he do? He tried to tack to the right with his podcast. That backfired. So now what is he doing? He's tacking back far left. He doesn't care about a statewide election in California. He's more interested in propping up his bona fides with the far left progressives, who are the real players in the Democrat presidential primary. Because remember, in primaries, the far left show up to vote. Primaries are not about moderate voters, they're about partisan voters. And so he was thinking, oh, I'm already going to be the Democrat nominee, so I better go to the middle as though I'm the Democrat nominee and court some votes for the general election in 2028. And then, of course, the base was like, we saw your podcast and we're not going to get behind you. So now he has to course correct. I believe Gavin Newsom is negligently handling these riots and backing these far left positions to course correct his failing presidential campaign. Again, this guy has never been about you and your safety or what's good for the public interest. It's only been about his own career ambition. And I'm seeing this for this is insane. This is not going to help. This is completely out of step with where the California voters are, completely out of step with national voters. Oh, but it seems to hit the sweet spot for far left primary voters in the presidential primaries. And remember, Newsom is all over the media cycle now. So he becomes the topic of conversation. And he's fighting Donald Trump. And something has to be said for Democrat voters hating Donald Trump. So anyone who's hating on Donald Trump this week is someone that they're paying attention to. You understand, this is not about what's right, not for the public. This is about what Newsom thinks is right for his political career. Look, I do believe he's running for president. I do laugh at how awful his campaign has been, but he's not a dummy when it comes to politics. He's got all these high-priced advisors. He's got Nancy Pelosi backing him, all the billionaires. So he is a credible, serious contender for president in 2028, and that's where Reform California comes in with our campaign to expose Gavin Newsom. Oh yeah, we're building a dirt file on this guy. Every single failure, every single character flaw, we are compiling so that we can go after him when he runs for president for 2028. Check out our Expose Gavin Newsom campaign and chip in a contribution so we can continue to hire our researchers and compile our dirt file on this loser. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.